Okay, this thing is gonna do this little goofy thing where it keeps kicking itself out. I had some videos last week where it kept doing this, and then I don't know. I seemed almost like after it warmed up, it would let me do it. But all right, let me get on to the next scripture. It's gonna be Psalms 141. So let me see if it's gonna let me get to it without it falling apart. I had it up here a second ago. Okay, Psalms 141 and 6. Psalms 141 and 6. When the judges are overthrown in stony places, they shall hear my words, for they are sweet. When they're judges, okay? When they're judges, judge, govern, vindicate, punish, to act as a lawgiver or a judge or governor, okay? So when the people that are put over us, what? When their judges are overthrown in stony places, they shall hear my words, for they are sweet. So we go hear the words of Yahweh Bashim Shah. Okay? We hearing that now. And those people that, like I said, these false leaders that we had and all these other things, they being overthrown. You know, these false pastors and this preaching that was going on for all these 500 years or so in the past, what I want to say about the past 50 years or so, has been overthrown. Like I said, I'm 58. Albert Bivens has been out here since was out there in like 66 or so, 65. Okay, so that preaching that was before that, except for the scripture here or there that was actually on point, the overall doctrine had been off. It was that Bible thump shit that they had to try to keep us in place because our people were being spiritual and they knew that the word was the word. Okay, and they really didn't want to go against the word. But then they wanted their lustful natures as well, so it was corrupted. They're going all the way back to Nicene Council and then some. And so it was corrupted and it was what it was. Okay? But we had to come out of it. So it says that when their judges are overthrown in stony places, they shall hear my words, for they are sweet. So now the elect has heard these words, and we understand it. Okay, the 2/3 it hasn't gotten it yet. They go be made right, but they haven't gotten it yet. Okay, let me go to Psalms. Yeah, let me go to Psalms. Uh, 110. Psalms 110 and 3. Psalms 110 and 3. Thy people shall be willing in the day of thy power, and the beauties of holiness from the womb of the morning. Thou hast the dew of thy youth. Thy people shall be willing in the day of thy power. Now these 2/3 that pass us and fan the hand and pull the shoulder and don't want to hear what we're saying, in the day that the chariot shows up, the martial law hit the streets, and all these things, then they going to then want to be on board. Okay, they gonna want to get right then, but then it's gonna be too late. It says seek him while he might be found, while he may be found. Kiss the son. You're supposed to be trying to kiss the son. You're supposed to be trying to kiss Yahweh Shai and beg him for forgiveness and tell him that you're sorry, and then find out what things you need to be doing to try to be right in his eyes when that punishment comes down the pipe. Okay? That's what you're supposed to be trying to do, but they're not trying to do that either. Why? Because they 2/3 and that's what they was designed to do, not be right. Let me go over here and get this Cadre Bible. Okay? I want to go to Second Esdras though. I think I started off there. Let me go to Second Esdras now. Second Esdras 9 and 11. Second Esdras 9 and 11. And they that have loathed my law, actually, I'm going to start at 9 and 9. Then shall they be a pitiful case which now have abused my ways, and they that have cast them away despitefully shall dwell in torments. Okay, for such as in their life have received benefits and have not known me. For they that have loathed my law while they yet had liberty, and when it was yet place of repentance was open unto them, understood not, but despised it. Okay, so they despise this. They don't want to hear it. What did he say? The same must know it after death by pain. So the Lord's going to bring the pain. Okay, and now you think about that. The one that was given the blueprints to create everything and understand everything and how everything works is going to now come back with the ability to cut loose. And those ones that can't appreciate the depth, the magnitude, the beating that he took, and all these things when he actually had the power to be able to keep none of it from happening, but subdued that self-preservation spirit and let these Edomites have a total subjection over him, and made him total subjected to their wickedness, their envy. Because I mean, as they say, Jacob have I loved, but Esau have I hated. So Esau and them Roman centurions, being who they were, had the opportunity to really get at him. And it says that he was beaten and marred more so than any other figure ever on the planet. So you don't think when he comes back, it says the same must know about death by pain? But okay, that's the Edomites. But now what about the 2/3 that turned them over? Them wicked ass Pharisees, Sadducees, and the way they incited the crowd and turned all of Israel that was in Jerusalem against them at that time. Okay? Except for the few that he did have that was his followers. Okay? That thing incited almost incited a riot. Okay, because you had people that understood and remembered all the miracles that he had did. Okay, and I'm pretty sure they was at the part of the elect, and they was enraged, but they was also had to be docile in the process because they had no power. And you had the Roman centurions, which was the law of the land, putting down the rules that's being given to them by the Caesars and these Pontius Pilate and these people that was in place at that time. Okay? So he said, but he's gonna bring death by pain for those people. And they said, let their blood be on us and our sons, our generations. So those people are back. So he's got to get at them in a whole different manner, in a whole different light, in a whole different way. There's a whole lot more than they ever anticipated. Okay? Let me get to the next scripture. See, this done warmed up a little bit now. Now it's not kicking out when I jump back and forth through stuff. So, okay, let me go to Jeremiah. (31) to 33. Jeremiah 31 and 33. But this shall be the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel after those days, saith Yahweh. I will put my laws in their inward parts. Like I said earlier. So he's going to put these laws in the brain. He's gonna make it part of our makeup that we don't want to that we don't want to transgress against, that we will not transgress against them. As they say, this is the faulty programming that we was given is gonna be superseded by the perfect programming. Okay, and since we don't live with the faulty programming, we gonna be able to appreciate being programmed perfectly. That was the whole point, to be be programmed uh, 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 with a faulty program. So when the perfect program is put in, because it's got to run forever, that we don't wonder what it's like. And I speak as a man on that, but I mean, if the situation being what it is, you get these these shows. I'll give you a perfect example of one show that kind of put me in the mind of this. It was a Star Trek episode years ago with Picard, and this is when Q popped up on scene, and he could pop in and out, you know, uh, flip into any mode, this, that, and the other, take them and knock them into different galaxies and this, that, and the other, and then in a blink of an eye or whatever, a snap of a finger, have them back, trillions of miles back to where they was at, with the snap of a finger and all these other types of things. So, but what was Q's situation? He was bored. Okay, he had been around for such a long period of time that he actually got bored. Okay, so now I just put that into play because, like I said, speaking as a man, this keeps you from being that. Where you'd have had a chance to go through all these lifetimes. So now, when you're talking about forever, and you into that 10 or 12 or 15 billion mark, and there's no end in sight, and you go live forever, you know that's what it says. I mean, 1,000 years is as a day, and a day is as 1,000 years to the Lord. Okay, 1,000 years is but a day to the Lord. You know what I'm saying? So when you start talking about you've been around forever and all these other kinds of things, and then you get to looking at the kind of years, billions and trillions of years, and you just go be there in that moment, doing what you're doing. These heathens go be dying and coming to life around you. That's a heck of a scenario to run through your mind when you consider all the things. And then what are we trying to do? We trying to be the lords and the governors of all of existence. That's a deep thing when you really think about it. Okay? And in the simplicity of it, it is crazy deep. In its simplicity. Joint heirs forever. Wow. Okay? So you deal with the faulty, so that once the perfect comes along, you can appreciate. You can appreciate the good because you done had some bad. Okay? I hear Apostle Bar say that all the time, and I used to say that to my son long before I was ever in the truth. How can you appreciate some good unless you had some bad in your life? Then you can appreciate the good. So when I first heard him say that years ago, that automatically clicked with me. Why? Because I'd already been saying it. That was already part of my makeup. All right. But this is, okay, but back to the scripture. But this shall be the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel after those days, saith Yahweh. I will put my law in their inward parts and write it in their hearts. I put it in their mind and will be their power, and they shall be my people. Okay? Shall be their power. So we go be those gods, and they shall be my people. Okay, so Yahweh wants his sons to have power. Okay, everything was made for them. Okay, and he wants them to have rulership of it. Okay, period. Let me go to Hosea. There it says, let me jump in and out now without it being a problem. Hosea 1 and 10. Hosea 1 and 10. Nope, let me close that. Hosea 1 and 10. Hosea 1 and 10. Yet the number of the children of Israel shall be as the sand of the sea, which cannot be measured nor numbered. And it shall come to pass that in the place where it was said unto them, ye are not my people, there it shall be said unto them, ye are the sons of the living power. Ye are the sons of the living power. God, the one true head. Al. Okay? The one true God. We are the sons of the one true God. Living God. Okay? Those sons. So it's almost like a genetic makeup code type of thing. What I mean by that is, you know, they call them what do they call them in college? When you have like maybe their dad went to a college. Legacy, that's what it's called. They call them a legacy, where their dad went to a college and he was a hell of an athlete, and this guy shows potential to be able to be a good athlete or whatever the case might be. So they legacy him in. The school knows that his dad was this, so they willing to let him come in and see if he can make a spot on the squad and whatnot, and then he gets a chance to kind of develop in this, that, and other. Give you a perfect example. Walter Payton's son, Jerry. He was he was already a ball player. Okay, he was okay. He got a chance to go, but he got a chance to go to the University of Florida, something like that, I believe, because of the name of his dad. He was legacied in. Okay, Deion Sanders, boy, was being looked at like that because of Deion Sanders. Then he does, I think, okay, that type of thing. These different ball players, they sons or whatever the case might be, get legacied in. Okay, so so I say that because if you're part of the sons of the living power, then there's gonna be powers that's gonna be just part of who you are. Okay, and different powers and different characteristics for different personalities. Okay, you know, uh, cartoon. What was that cartoon? The Incredibles. You know, whatever the strong guy name was, and Mystic Elastic, the female, they had kids, and all them different kids had different powers. And then the youngest one had the most powers. Okay, he bounced between all kinds of different types of powers. Bingo. All right. What is this? Let me go back here and see what this is. Yeah, Hosea 1 and 10. Let me go over here to Hebrews. Okay. But yeah, the sons. So we're looking at hoping and trying to, be those sons that's doing the things that the Lord said that they'd be doing in that day. Looking to hopefully be part of the ruling class that's going to be there in the end. And then there forever. Hebrews 10 and 16. So he said it back then in Hosea. Now we got it being said here in Hebrews, so it didn't change. This is the covenant that I will make with them after those days, saith Yahweh. Okay, or the true God, if you want to know exactly what it is. Okay, this title is given to God, the Messiah. Okay, all right. Um, okay. The Lord, I will put my laws into their hearts, and in their minds I will write them. So he's going to write it down. It's going to be part of the programming. So we don't go off no more. Said it back in Hosea, saying it here in Hebrews. So it's the same thing that's being said. So this is true. This is what the Lord is going to do. He's had different people say it. Different men of the Lord say it. And their sins and iniquities will I remember no more. So the past sins are going to be past, and since we don't sin no more, it's all going to be washed under the bridge. And now you rule the universe, doing what it is that you're supposed to do. Unchained taking off the chain of being in these mortal flesh, not being able to go past the Van Allen belt, that radiation belt that's out there in space, and that whole thing. Being able to get on a chariot, go to other planets, and the whole deal. Okay? Okay? So he's not going to remember the sins anymore in the process of. You know, this is a beautiful thing that the Lord wants to actually do for us. Okay? And he wants to do it for us. He don't want to do it for everybody. And I don't know why people want to think that. Because it says here, Malachi 3:6, for I am Yahweh, I change not. Therefore ye sons of Jacob are not consumed. So he made up his mind. He thought it all through before he even started it. And then everything now is just playing out to what it is that he did and thought of before he even let anything start being made by his son Yahweh Shai. And then Yahweh Shai taking the blueprints that he said and making everything per John where it says all things were made by him and for him. Okay? He changed not. So these people want to think that he changed. He said he don't change. So I said this in the Old Testament, and it's the same thing in the New Testament. Okay? But now let me go over to Hebrews again. We'll go to 13 and 8. Yahweh Shai Mashiach, the same yesterday, today, and forever. See what I'm saying? Same thing. He changed not. The Lord didn't change. And Yahweh Shai, that was there with him from the beginning, didn't change. The whole makeup is to have everything that Yahweh thought about before come to pass, be put in place, and continue on from there forever. That's the whole game plan. In a nutshell. In a nutshell. Go to James 1:17. Every good gift and every perfect gift is from above and cometh down from the Father of lights, with whom is no variableness, neither shadow of turning. He's not going to turn to change his mind. His sons are his sons. His people is his people. He's not going to change his mind. He going to put them through something, and like a good father does, he's going to make sure that you understand the lesson, and then you move on. And once all the lesson is understood, and then and then it's inside his power to make it right, he's going to make it right, and you go on and have a great life. That's what every parent would actually want. Their kid, if they're out of order, to try to show them what it takes to be in order. Then they understand it and they get in order, and then they go on and have a great life. And the parent is proud. The parent is glad, I should say. Take the word pride out of that because he hates pride, but he's glad. He's thankful. He's thankful. I don't know if I want to use that word. He's content with what the child has become. He's content with it. Okay? He can be happy with it. All right? Okay? So, and he didn't change. So it's the same thing. Everything that he wants in the end, which is his pleasure to give his sons the kingdom, and that means rulership over everything, is pleasing to him. But they got to go through some things to get to that point. Simple. Let me go here. Psalms. Go back to Psalms. So he wants to make us lords. He wants to make us rulers. Okay? He wants to. It's going to be his pleasure. Psalms 82:6. I have said ye are gods, and all of you are the children of the Most High. There it is. And then Yahweh Shai quoted this. Isn't it written when he was going against the wicked ass Pharisees and whatnot? Isn't it written ye are gods? Okay. Ye are gods. Go to Exodus. Sometimes you have to kind of just keep pulling up some things so people can understand it. Because see, you try to tell them that you're a God and they want to say that, but then they can't wrap their mind around the concept of thou shalt not revile the gods. 430. The rulers, the judges. So when we say we give double honors to the men that teach us, our teachers, we don't revile. If they go off, then the scripture is going to show that. But if they in good standing with the scriptures and doing the will and the work, no, you don't revile them. These are the judges and the rulers that's been put above us to have to give an account for our souls, our thing. So they want to be able to say we put these in place per the Spirit, and this is what we were led to believe by the Spirit is what we need to do to have the men that was under us be on point. Period. Okay? The gods, Elohim, same ones that made everything in the beginning. Going back to Genesis. Elohim, Genesis 1:1. In the beginning, God, that same 430. Elohim, judges, rulers. They was part of the ones that was given the power to be able to create all this stuff. We hoping that we were part of that group, was part of those spirits. And then as those spirits, the same way Yahweh Shai was in charge of it. And then that spirit was then taken and put into Adam. Okay? We're hoping that we were spirits that was with Yahweh Shai forming all these things, and that these spirits were put into these bodies, and we had to come down here and go through things the same way. Okay? The Lord is generous with his understanding. He wants you to understand what's going through so you can appreciate it and deal with it and take it cheerfully. John 10:34. Yahweh Shai answered them. Yahweh Shai, this is in red. Yahweh Shai 10:34. Yahweh Shai answered them, is it not written in your law, I said ye are gods? Okay. Now, like I said, if you want to read the verse above it or whatever, or go back in and read the whole thing, whatever, to get the real gist of it. But there it is. So this is him. Isn't it written? Is it not written in your law? I said ye are gods. So peep that. He said, is it not written in your law? I said ye are gods. You tell him, I'm the one that this whole book is written about. I'm the one that is your salvation is wrapped up in. You don't understand this? I said it. I'm the one that was in charge of the gods, or I'm the one that was in charge of the powers, the Elohim, that was making things. But they couldn't wrap their mind around it because it wasn't meant for them, because they wasn't part of that elect. They wasn't. They had the preeminent seats, but they wasn't part of the elect. Matthews, and this is my last scripture, 28:18. And Yahushua came and spake unto him, saying, all power is given unto me in heaven and in earth. All power is given to him. The Father gave Yahushua all power in heaven and in earth. Why? Because he knows that even in heaven, which is rulership here on the planet, Yahushua is not going to do anything that goes against what Yahweh wants done. Period. Period. He's an obedient son, which means that the Father is happy with him. What did he say? This is my son, hear ye him, who I'm well pleased with. Being made power, being made gods, being put in positions of authority and rulership. This is what the men that are standing out there in the streets and GMSs should hopefully be focused on and trying to do. So for the elect, you know, maybe it's not your lot to be in the fold in that matter, but to have this understanding and be part of the first go around, he's gonna have his own set of rewards anyway. So if you're part of the elect and you got this understanding and your mind has been open and you dealing and you learning and you're adapting your life to this, do that. And don't fall away from it, because it says you get that if you endure to the end. And to the end could be even into death. Because in death, the ones that die in this are going to be the first ones to get a chance to come back. Okay? Abba Bivens, King Marshall, Elder Nate, Captain Lee, died doing this work. The apostles talk about King Marshall and Abba Bivens. And here in Chicago, we can actually talk about Elder Nate and Captain Lee, because they died doing the work. Captain Lee had just did videos that same day that he was killed. Endure to the end. So with that, I want to send all praises, honor, and glory out to Yahweh Bashim, Yahushua, Bashim, Kakodash, to the apostles and elders of GMS out of New York. Again, double honors. All praise to Yahweh Bashim, Yahushua, for the knowledge and the true breakdowns. Very much appreciated. Yahweh Bashim, Yahushua. To the brothers out there that's pushing this truth, uncut, unfiltered, breaking down the scriptures, the prophecies, and the interaction, again, salutations. Hopefully, elect, I hope this is edifying and uplifting. The few aquat that's listening to say it in charity, hold on and keep doing so. But for the scorn and scoff of reprobate 2/3 Israelites and 17 other nations, death by pain, per the scriptures. So with that, 17 other nations, Abba, Shalom. And I guess I should say shalom, whatever the Lord's will, huh? Okay, so with that,